Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world. It's my own desire. It's my own remorse. Help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you. Holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When they do, I'll be right behind you. So glad we've almost made it. So sad we had to fade it. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world.
That felt very appropriate for how chat views me after absolutely just not having a good time with their characters. And that's how it's going to continue in this stream. So, if you were upset last time, it's only going to get worse. Okay. But this is my list. And that's how it is. Now, I will say something that I think is kind of interesting. Given my list, and I edited the video for the bracket thing I've been doing through the polls and all that stuff. I looked at it and I'm like, it's not that different from how the bracket went out, and I had a third of the power in that bracket. A third. That's a pretty good one. The Grease rant has returned. Yes. Also, let me know how the mic sounds. I did put a like mic cover on it. You guys can tell because it's not red anymore. But I thought that would be a good thing. Just maybe help with like echo issues or anything like that. But yeah. Plus, it's cheap. It's a very cheap thing to add compared to getting a bunch of stuff for the walls and other stuff, which is expensive. I'll have to cope hard after this ranking. You might have to. You might have to, Crab. You might have to. Um, I did put up a little background, I will say. Not because I really wanted it on the stream, but more because there's a lot of ads on this website and I don't have ad blockers. So, yeah. Chat's not the easiest to read because of the white on the green background, but I just had that pre-made. But yeah. Hi, Ghost. How are you? And I hope you're doing all right. Greasy Fix. Oh God. Hey, it's gonna get a little wacky. We got some characters to do. I don't really want to waste any time because I do want to finish this in this stream. I don't want this to go to 3 parts, which I think we will. We knocked out like a good amount, I feel like, in the first stream. So let's kind of dive into it, right? Mace Tyrell. Gonna be honest, I kind of feel like he's a fine character. Like, I think of like the male Tyrells, like Garland's more interesting, Loris is more interesting. Mace just he's not that much of a character really. He's kind of like a figurehead-esque type character. I will put him though. I think he's a C tier character. I don't think he's B or anything like that. I would say he's I'm trying to think of a good spot for him. I feel like I'll put him underneath Gilly. I think that's a good spot. I think that's fine. Mance Raider. I think is a solid B character. I think he's very interesting. A lot of, mysterious stuff around his background. He's a quite fascinating character into working into John as a character and him trying to figure out how he stands with the wildlings. A lot of people have some really interesting theories about Mance with the pink letter and his identity as well. I'll put Mance, I think, right in front of Braun. I think those two characters are like somewhat on the same level. Does that make sense? Like, they're two characters that are not the most prevalent in the series, but when we do see them, they're quite great characters to read. And I would say Mance is a bit more interesting than Braun. It kind of reflects in my Song of Ice and Fire like list as well for my top 100. I feel like that's a good spot. I think a lot of people might have Mance a bit higher. I know a lot of people really like Mance, so I could see Mance definitely being an A for some people, but I think B is a fair point. No, I was not mad at you. Again, I use, for the most part, I'm never mad on Twitter or X. I am use that platform almost to explicitly troll. Like, if you see me post things on there, it might not even be like my actual thoughts on it, unless it's like House of the Dragon related. I do get a little flustered on House of the Dragon on there. But like, I put, for instance, I reposted something about Maegor the Cruel, and I was like the Goat King, and that's because I was kind of I was trolling, even though I think Maegor is a underrated king. Like, I think that a lot of people put him in like the bottom four kings of A Song of Ice and Fire, and he should be nowhere near that. So yeah, a little bit of that. Hi, Paul. How are you? Um, I feel like there's more to Mace that meets the eye. I do too. I think there's a bit more to it. We just haven't seen it yet, Delroy. So I think, and that's the other part about this is like, I think there's a lot of characters on this list that, depending on where they go in Winds of Winter, could either go way up or go way down. So, for instance, like Mance Rayder is a really interesting one because we haven't seen the conclusion of what he's kind of been building towards, especially with his arc post getting captured. So, he could very much go up. But, it's just a lot of these characters have a lot of mystery built around them that we haven't really seen what's all going on there. So, yeah. Agree, Ghost. There could be more. Um, Maegor is the goat. Unironically, I love Maegor's character, but I don't think like he is the best person in the world, and I don't think he's the best king. But I really love him as a character. Like, I just got done reading his section of Fire and Blood. I finally have started my research for a Maester conspiracy. I don't know if it's gonna be like it's gonna either be a very long video or a kind of a series type thing. But I'm starting to go through my notes, like just writing down moments as I'm reading that like strike me as, okay, this is a bit fishy, or this could maybe compound to a Maester conspiracy type thing. And I just got done with the the section right after Aegon, so Aenys and then Maegor, and then I stopped as Jaehaerys started, which is always been my rough part of Fire and Blood. I am somebody that loves the open to Fire and Blood, and then Jaehaerys' reign, I just tend to lose interest the longer it goes on. Like, I really love Jaehaerys and Alicent's like rise to power and them keeping power, dealing with some of the issues that came from Maegor's reign. And then like as it goes on and like as characters die out, like Rhaena, I love Rhaena's character as well. The older sister of Jaehaerys. As those characters kind of fade away and you kind of like drag into the second half of Jaehaerys' reign, I kind of start to fade out a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. We haven't rated too much yet, Dakota. We've only, I think, we did Mance, and then we also did Mace. So, unless you're really high on one of those two characters, just been kind of around there. Bro saved his dynasty, though. I agree. 100%. I think that definitely moves him up. He did a lot of things that were positive, but he also did some things that weren't as good as well. Definitely top 5 best kings. I wouldn't go that far. I'd probably put him in the middle. Like, I'd put him like around like, well, maybe we'll do a ranking of the kings again because my thoughts change as I learn more about Song of Ice and Fire. But I think as of right now, I'd say he's like around the middle for me, or maybe yeah, I'd say just around the middle. I think Aenys is the one that gets like pushed up too far. Like, I've seen people put Aenys above Maegor, and I think that's wild. I think Aenys is probably a bottom 3 Targaryen king. Bottom 3. But I agree. Maegor is what the Targaryens needed after Aerys. I agree. Maegor Maegor made Jaehaerys's reign happen. Like if Maegor had not done as extreme things as he did, Jaehaerys's reign would have gone very differently. I had Mace in C tier. I had him like I think on the upper like 2 rows, and then Mace or Mance was in B. Crazy to think that Ricky wants a show on Jaehaerys's reign. It's just the Targaryens in their prime and beating everyone. So I understand it, right? It's just not my forte, right? Like my forte, the things I love about Fire and Blood is a lot of the drama, and a lot of the I like the I don't think I'm unique in saying I like the more wartime elements of Fire and Blood and the times building up to that war. And so Jaehaerys's reign is a lot more about building the kingdoms. It's about the infrastructure. How does this kingdom actually work as a whole? Because up until Jaehaerys's reign, all these kingdoms have really felt very separate. They haven't felt connected. They haven't felt as one. So I can get it from a point of view if you really like, learning how Jaehaerys did all of those things. It's just not the most interesting thing for me. I think Fire and Blood, it's big, I think, smear is how long Jaehaerys's reign goes on, which it makes sense when you think about the page count relative to how many years pass by. Like my Fire and Blood book, Maegor, everything like to Jaehaerys's reign is about like 48-ish years, I think, or something like that. And that's all about 100-ish pages. And then you have like the next 60-ish, 70-ish years, somewhere in that area is next, like 100 and I don't know if it's like 100 or 200 pages, somewhere around there. But yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't think a Jaehaerys show would be very good at all. Unless you're doing it towards the end, but then you're just getting into where House the Dragon picks up. Or maybe if you did, okay, if you're going to do a Jaehaerys show, the ways I would do it is I would do it, have it opening with Jaehaerys or like Maegor's fall. I would have it open with Maegor's fall and then go through all the struggles that Jaehaerys like does in trying to cement the dynasty. You couldn't do it much further than that though. Like Jaehaerys's reign, once he takes power with Alysanne, like there's not a lot there that I think would make that interesting of TV. I do have an Instagram. I don't know if it's in the description. I haven't really plugged my Instagram in a while just because I haven't posted on it all that much in the past. But yeah, it is in the description. I do have the Instagram and the Twitter both linked down there. So if anybody does want to check those out, you feel free to. When I do post more Winds of Winter stuff, like if it's for characters, I will usually put up like, Q&A type thing. But yeah. I think Maegor had the potential to be a really good person, but I think that a lot of things factored into why he became the person that he is. Like I literally have, just on reading that section of Fire and Blood, I have so many videos I want to do, but I just don't know like if I want to rapid fire them, because you can see in this channel every time I like reread the intro of Fire and Blood, you'll always see like there's like a week or two or a couple of weeks maybe where it's a lot of Fire and Blood content and inspired by that. Like I literally created, I think I added 7 video ideas today and yesterday because of History of Westeros' podcast on Maester Aemon and then also Fire and Blood. So we'll see. Do we have any Kings of Winter on this list? Like Theon Stark? No. So this is just almost purely a Song of Ice and Fire characters, or listed as Song of Ice and Fire characters. So for instance, like Aegon's on here, I would assume because he's listed so much in the main series, but yeah. But yeah, I agree, Ghost. I think it would drag on. See, I personally think that Aemon is a quite complex character. I think Aemon would be higher than A, like bottom of A, if we had more of a complete history of him. Like even when you think about History of Westeros, and they go so far into basically every single detail, like they turn into what for me would probably only be like a 20-minute, 30-minute video, and they make 3 hours worth of content. Even they like have huge gaps where you don't know anything about what happened for Aemon. You have to speculate and theorize. I think that Aemon deserves to be an A. I think Aegon as a character, we do know. I think we might be understanding a little bit, like, we don't know, like, how he was. We know he was a very stoic type person. He's almost what, like, the stereotype of what men are supposed to be in this world is. Um, and so I think his role and him actually shaping Westeros and all of that stuff, and I think how interesting the character is when reading Aegon's Conquest puts him an A easily in his influence and his importance, but I don't know. I think Aerys II is a more interesting character than Brienne at this time. Um, I've studied his descent into madness. I think I could talk a lot more about Aerys II than I could about Brienne, even though I think Brienne is a great character and all that. But yes, Dakota, sickness is pretty bad. I had like I was fairly sick like I think it was the first week of December, and I definitely felt you there on that one. Is Cold Hands here? I thought he was. Yeah, he's ranked in C, I think. Are there Blackfires? Aegor, I don't know unless you count Young Griff. I know Young Griff's on here, I think. But besides that, I don't know. And to be honest, House Dragon has really ruined my expectations for any Fire and Blood adaptations because they might change up crap and not have it make sense. Yeah, which is the craziest part is Ghost. Like the Dance of the Dragon era has probably the most content that we know of for a Fire and Blood like part, right? Like if you think about the Maegor Aenys stuff, one of my things I wish we got more of, and I understand why George didn't, right? But I wish we got more of Aenys and Maegor, because we go through like a good amount of years where we don't know a ton about what was going on, right? Like we don't know, for instance, something I would love to understand is Maegor and Aenys' relationship with their father. We only get very vague, ideas. Like Aenys was going with Aegon, when he was being groomed to be a ruler. And, Maegor, it seems like, didn't have much of a relationship with his father at all. But then at, Aegon's, funeral after he dies, Maegor is the one that's basically the one in charge of it, right? He's giving a speech about his father and having, Blackfire and all that stuff. So, I think it's interesting, what we'd have to see because it all comes down to interpretation. It is really about how do you believe a story went down? Something as simple as how did Maegor die would be a huge thing a writer would have to decide if you were ever going to do like a Maegor and Aenys show. Like, how do you think that the Maester conspiracy factors into those things? Do you think there is a overarching, High Tower, the Faith, the High Septon, the Maesters? Is there some sort of conspiracy there that was also helping along the issues of that time? So, like, there's just so many, I think, issues that a writing team would have to understand and be very detailed at, and that's something that can be very tough. Yeah, PK, I think Viserys is another one of my favorite Targaryens, but he's somebody that's so interesting because you can see that there was a time where he wasn't who he was in the main story. Like you could see it, right? Even in Viserys's last moments where like he is actually given, this idea that he's going to get a crown and an army and all these things. You see the boyish side of him once again. Like you see the parts that I actually see Daenerys loving in Viserys, and that's what makes his death even more brutal. But you could definitely see that. Fire and Blood should have been a longer book, low key. Crab, I agree, but I think at the same time I almost disagree because I think that Jaehaerys's reign should have been shortened, and I think other parts of the books should have been expanded. Like, I do think it's kind of wild that in the span of 100 pages, we go through the reigns of three kings. So I think that it could have really helped with the editing of the pacing of Fire and Blood to me. Probably one of the biggest complaints that I have of the book. And I'm a big supporter of Fire and Blood, but the pacing, I think that, it really has this, okay, first 100 pages, I'm really hooked. I really enjoy every single page. All of that. I'm really entertained. And then it slowly starts to come back down again. And it goes to like a really big low point. Like, I have not completed Fire and Blood in its entirety in quite a while. Like, out of all the books, besides the world of Song of Ice and Fire, all that stuff. Um, it's the book I haven't read through a very long time. Like, I read through certain sections of it, right? So for season 2, I read through the dance section of the book. Um, I was rereading, listening to an audiobook, and I got through like the first half of the book. I then maybe for some other stuff was looking at the last part of the book with Aegon the Third. So I don't know. I did not know that PK on the Blackfish. What do you think of the second dance that's going to happen? Yeah, I think that George has basically said that is going to happen again. I would love young Griff to get a dragon. I think it would even the playing fields and add to a bit of the suspense building towards that fight. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how that would really like happen right now. Yeah, so Ghost, that's what I possibly thought as well. Um, because it does make sense that, for instance, the Blackfire words would be once again just a reversing of the Targaryen words, just like their sigil. And so that could be possible, and it would make sense. It would reference that the Blackfires became the next true threat of House Targaryen and would be the thing that kind of was at the forefront of the next half of that reign of the Targaryens, but we'll see. Aegon the Conqueror understood how to rule the realm. He did do that. I think that Aegon's strengths, where he was good at those things, I think Aegon the Conqueror, his biggest weakness is he did not know how to deal with the faith in terms of a long term solution. He's somebody that he kind of kicked the can down the road. Like, he didn't deal with the faith being able to be armed. He didn't deal with the growing power that the faith was having. He kind of kicked that down the can, and he didn't even seem to prepare, Aenys for that at all. Aenys seemed completely taken aback when people start rising up kind of against him, and people are not happy with Aegon and Rhaena's, marriage. So I think one thing that Aegon did not do well is I don't think he managed the faith well, and I think that he also did not prepare Aenys and Maegor, or even was a. I don't even think he was that great of a father to either of them, and so that really would kind of start the issues that led into the next part of the Targaryen history. How do you think John will claim one of Dany's dragons? I actually think it'll probably be somewhat close to the show. Um, this idea that John has Targaryen blood and he'll just, bond with one of the dragons. I do think it makes sense for it to be Rhaegal, given John's father could possibly be Rhaegar, but Maegor is killed by his wife. We don't know that. That's a possibility. I actually doubt that theory quite a lot. I think the most likely theories for Maegor's death was the Kingsguard killed him, given their actions afterwards, or that he actually killed himself. I really like the idea that Maegor killed himself, even though I don't think it lines up with his personality that we hear of from Fire and Blood. Could internally he have been completely different at that point than what the Maesters believe he was? Very possible. Because to believe that Maegor killed himself, you have to believe that he came to the rationale that the war was over and he didn't want anyone to kind of defeat him, and so he killed himself. Or he kind of was realizing that, he couldn't win. And that kind of contrasts his personality that we were told of anyway, that he's this warrior king, that he would almost never back down and all these things, and he's brutal. So I don't know. Yeah, PK. Daenerys coming to Westeros in the second book made no sense. It just made no sense to me. That still makes no sense. But let's get back to it. You guys are very chatty today. Trying to keep up with you guys. Mandan Moore, another character that like don't really care about, to be honest. Marjorie, I would say Marjorie is. Ooh, this is a tough one because this is hard to differentiate between the show and the book. Because in the book, Marjorie is, yes, a character, but we don't see enough of her. So, like, I think warrant putting her in B. That's kind of how I feel about the Tyrells in general. Like, one thing the show did that I liked is that they gave the Tyrells more time to develop, and to become, more characters. Like, we really don't see much of Marjorie. We see her a little bit through Catelyn, in book 2. Kinda see her through a bit of Sansa's eyes. That's probably the most personal we get is through Sansa's eyes. We see her through Cersei's eyes, but again, we don't really know who this character of Marjorie is. And that's one thing I think about the Tyrells is that they could very much go up in the next book as we realize, okay, is there some sort of, Marjorie, Tyrell plan, conspiracy going on? We just don't know right now. And so right now it's hard to place Marjorie, above some of these other characters like the High Sparrow, who's a pretty good villain for Cersei's arc, Lewin, John Aaron, so characters that we know a bit more about. I think it's hard to uh, put her ahead of them. Marillion. This character, I mean, what do we know about this character outside of, he's a singer. He's involved in Littlefinger and Sansa's cover up of Lysa's death. He's a little bit involved in a Game of Thrones. He's barely a character. Like he very barely is a character. I'll put him right below Hisdar and C just because he actually is present in a pretty important plot line. But I don't know. I think that he's fine. Like Marwyn the Mage is another character where I don't know where to place Marwyn because he literally shows up once and yeets on out of there. Like we literally know almost nothing about Marwyn. Like he's a very mysterious character. He's very similar to Euron in terms of he has this magical feel to him. But we know even less about Marwyn than we do a character like Euron, and we barely know anything about Euron. So Marwyn, I'm gonna give a little bit of love to Marwyn because he does introduce my favorite theory in A Song of Ice and Fire in the Maester conspiracy. But I don't know how far up I can put him because he's not really a character right now. Like he's not a character. Like this is one of those characters that I think after Winds of Winter, if we get it, would go up probably to B. But as of right now, isn't much of a character. Mira Reed. I think she's right around Jojen. I like her more than Jojen. I would go as far as putting Mira middle of B. You guys agree with that? I could see people being higher and lesser on Mira. I do think she adds a lot and a little bit more of levity to the Bran Stark plotline as the books go on. But I don't know. I don't think I can place her much higher than this. Unfortunately, she is involved in probably the worst. Well, I would say the overall worst plotline if you looked at like book 2, 3, and 5. Like it kind of hurts her cause a little bit. Let me look at chat. Chat, what do you guys think about Mira? Where would you guys place Mira? I'm very interested by your comments on Mira. I agree, Ghost. Show Marjorie A tier, book Marge B tier. I could see Marjorie in B tier. I don't hate that too much at all. I also feel like Aenys and Maegor are kind of like a symbol or metaphor for future Targaryens to come. It's like the Targaryen coin flip. Aerys was a good person but a terrible king. Yeah, I agree. Here's why I think, Aegon wasn't such a great king is that both Aenys, or I shouldn't say a great king, a great father, is that both Aenys and Maegor are extreme versions of their mothers, right? So Rhaenys was somebody that knew that when she had to use her dragon and knew when she had to go to battle, but she was somebody that was a bit, on the a softer side. She was somebody that liked music and poets, and she was a bit more understanding of people. She was more friendly. Rhaenys is like that, but more to an extreme. He doesn't have that part of Rhaenys that would go to Dorne and fight and go to Stormlands and all that stuff. Like, so I feel like both Aenys and Maegor are extreme versions of their mother. Visenya also had a bit more of common sense and how to deal with people, but she was also more, on the crueler side, more of the Stannis-esque, more blunt. And Maegor is that, but on crack, right? So I kind of look at that, and I go, yeah, I think it's a representation of their mother, of Maegor and Aenys' mothers, more than it is of Aegon. Brienne is doing in B. Again, higher part of B, I want to clarify that. You know, out of the characters we've ranked, Brienne is still a top, what, 6, 8, or sorry, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. Like, she's still a top 20 character right now. I am trying to be stingy on what I put in S and A because it's going to be so many characters. I think that makes the most sense. So being in B tier, especially on the top side of B tier, is not a bad thing. Like, she's around where Euron is, the Blackfish, Kevin, John Con. Like, I rate a lot of these characters highly. So I don't think Brienne is an S tier character by any means. I could see an argument for A, but I don't think much higher than that. Like, if she was in low A, I could see it. On Mira, you care about her thoughts? Well, I was giving you guys, I wanted to see what you guys thought, even though it probably would not, you know, sway me. But yeah. PK, I know you're a big fan of Daenerys. I just don't care about Hizdar's character. He's not that interesting to me, outside of possibly being a figurehead for the Sons of the Harpy. To me, he's not that interesting of a character. Hi, Euron. How are you? Okay. You guys are putting Mira B, C. Okay. All right. Okay. I can definitely see, like, I could see that Jojen and his, like, his dreams and, you know, his prophetic stuff. I could see why people would put him above Mira. I like Mira's personality, her more as a person and as a character than I do Jojen. But I would agree, like, I think Jojen's probably a bit more on the interesting side. Hi, Ashley. How are you? You better put some respect on my Rhaenys' name. Okay, well, you're calling me names again, so maybe I won't. I don't even think Rhaenys is in this, to be honest. But we'll see. Um. Oh, okay. You're talking about okay. I thought you were talking about on the tier list. I was like, I don't think Rhaenys is gonna be on here. But will we ever get an animal tier list? Maybe PK. I doubt it though. I don't know how interesting that would be. I don't know. I think the coolest animals are Drogon, Ghost, and Silver. Some good ones. Some good ones. I might do the dragons. I don't know. I might. We'll see. Hi JC, how are you? All right. So let's move on. Move on. Alessandra. I'm gonna give Mel. Um. I'm gonna give Mel a high B placing. I think she's a great character. Really is great for the Stannis like whole plot line. I find that her magic and, you know, what stuff is fake, what stuff is real, be extremely interesting. A fantastic character. I will say, you know, something I'm noticing, and maybe we need a B plus tier. I would say like this line right here, like these characters, I think are all like a bit above the rest of these. But I don't know. You know, maybe, you know, at the end of this we'll adjust. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Moving on. Maribald is a good character, albeit he does not appear very much. I would still put Maribald maybe here. I think that I don't know. I don't know. See, Maribald is one I don't know. I could like I could see myself putting him up here, like right after reading Feast for Crows. But at the same time, like I'm like looking at these and I'm like, Alistair Thorne, Janice Slint. Maybe like what do you guys think for this one too? I feel very conflicted on this one. I don't know. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? I've been asking that question for a long time, Crab. Long time. Ashley gets called the GOAT mod in his video, but calls him names all the time. Oh, that is a thing, Ashley. I did call you the GOAT mod in the Video either coming out Thursday or Saturday. I don't remember what day it's coming out, but yes, I did call you the GOAT mod. That is true though. No, like Ashley gets favoritism because she is the GOAT mod. It is just correct. Dakota, you're like probably second GOAT mod, but Ashley is the GOAT mod. It is how it is. PK, I would say yes and no. I think there's aspects of Mel I like better in the show, aspects I like better in the book. I like that we get more of the magical side of how Mel actually works in the book more than we do the show. They kind of don't go into it much. I think Aegon is fine for right now, personally. Maribald has the best monologue in the whole book. I'd say it's up there. I might go towards Euron's monologue, but I wouldn't disagree. My problem with that is like he's a great character in that moment that he's in Feast for Crows, but he's such a small character. Like when you really think about everybody on this list, like you think about Jaina Slint, how important and impactful he is as a villain for certain parts of the book. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I thought Slint's ranking would be higher. He has good friends in court. You know, he has good friends in court, but he doesn't have good friends in the Grease Goblin channel. I never call you. That is Cap. That's Cap Dakota. Dakota, you like to get on me about things. PK, I think Lyanna is a more impactful character than Mance Rayder, and I like her character being a very unique person in this world that is like her being this character of kind of a tomboy, like the Arya before the Arya type character. I really enjoy. Now I will say, if she turns out to not be the Knight of the Laughing Tree, she will go down. I will say that. Me, I was Lord Slint's friend at court. Fair. Erica's a tyrant. He doesn't even. I can't win. I can't win. I give favoritism how it should be, right? Ashley would be Ashley. If we're going off of my GOAT mods, she would be the Hand of the King. Then there would be some of the other ones, right? There'd be a lot of you other guys. There'd be like Ghost. There'd be like Maz. There'd be like, who else would I put in there? Who else? I gotta look at my mod list before I make a list like that. But yeah, I agree though, JC. Like I think he's a good character. I definitely, and like that's why I think C tier is here, right? Like there's a lot of good characters in C tier, but they're held back for one reason or another. Oh, PK, we could do a whole stream about that. I would hold that thought. I would hold that thought. If chat wants to kind of explain it to you, because that one would take a while. But yes, it is in relation to Daenerys, where she was when she was younger. And yeah, it's kind of about that. Okay, the common theory is that she went to Bravos and all of that, which seems to be confirmed in book 5, but people have other stuff on there because in Bravos you can't like grow lemons and the whole thing about it. The whole thing about it. I agree, Ashley. Ashley, I agree. I agree. I would love to be mod cannibal. I'll take it into consideration. As of right now, I feel good. I have a lot of mods right now, cannibal, but you know, I tend to, as I see mods, like if I don't see as many mods in chat and like they like start fading away, like for instance, I've been in a perpetual like mod, somebody like stop like coming in. Like I've had mods in the past that very active and then all of a sudden dropped off, so I can replace those. But I'll definitely consider it cannibal. You're right, Crab. Would PK be your Lord of the Riverlands? He owns the twins after all. No. PK would probably be. He would probably be like in charge of Dragonstone because he's a big Daenerys fan. Euron is A now, and why we see more of him, or when we see more of him, he will not only be S but the best character in the series. I could very easily see that happening. I very easily see that. So, okay, I shouldn't say maybe where she's actually from, but like where she goes after Robert's Rebellion. Some people think that she was in Dorne, for instance. Um, as of right now, I do not need more mods, guys, but I will consider it. I will consider it. Yeah, Dakota is definitely the Lord of the Riverlands. That is correct. I agree. I agree. Dakota definitely gets that. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Merritt Frey. I actually really, I enjoy Merritt Frey of what we get of him. We just don't get a lot of him, unfortunately. Dakota's gonna be pissed, but I'll put Merritt Frey there. I think that's fine. Marin Trant, God, I hate Marin. That's what makes him effective. Kind of like Jorah Mormont in a way, but just a worse. I'll put Marin Trant behind Merritt Frey. Merritt Frey's cooler. Miri Bet Mazdur. Again, kind of a similar situation to Maribald, in my opinion. Like a really well written character. We don't see them all that much. Like, this is a very good villain. Like, not even, I shouldn't even say villain, but like morally gray, interesting character for book one Daenerys. She is one of the biggest reasons why I love Daenerys in book one. Oh, I'll put her. I'm gonna put Miri Mazdur like top of C. I feel like that's a very generous ranking for Miri. Missandei, not much of a character. Like Missandei is not much of a character. She's a little girl in the books. She's not like she is in the show. She's got this theory that maybe she's a part of the Children of the Forest, which kind of a cool theory, won't lie. Um, I don't know. Like I don't really care all that much about Missandei in the books, to be honest. I'll put her like middle of C, maybe. I don't know. Makoro is, in my opinion, a better version of Marwyn as of right now. I'll put Makoro because he's very interesting. I'm very excited to see this character. I don't know how much we're going to see of him. I'll put Makoro. Man, I'm very conflicted about where to put this character as well. I'll put Makoro right there in C. I think that's a fair spot. Oh, Mordain, fuck this character. Hold on. I don't want to make another tier because it's already getting like, but Mordain is an. I hate this character. I genuinely hate this character. Like the favoritism this character shows to Arya, or not Arya, to Sansa and bullies Arya. Fuck this character. That's all I gotta say. Dude, Mordain, fuck off. Just fuck off. I don't know what else to say. Mord, kind of a funny guy. I like Mord. He's pretty cool. Does that mean I'm gonna put him like Mord? I'm gonna be honest. Even though I like Mord, I mean he's like a very nothing character, but I do like Mord. I don't know how to explain it. We're gonna do a lot of characters that I'm seeing here where I'm just like, eh. Pro Food Umber, like, we don't have all that much of a character for him either. We see him like a little bit. We see him basically in like what, 2 chapters. He's got a really cool and interesting backstory. Very not likable personality. I don't even like he's kind of like I would put him like here, like in this area. Like same idea of like Donella Hornwood. We see her for literally 1 chapter. And she's interesting in that 1 chapter. Same chapter that Moore's Umber is in. But Maya Stone, we see her at certain parts of the story. I'm a big fan of Maya Stone. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I hope we get more of Maya Stone. Of like a lot of these like bastard characters that we don't see a lot of. I'm a fan of Maya. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'll put her. Yeah, she's kind of like trending downwards as I go, but I'll put her like top end of C. I think top end of C is fine. Miranda Royce, another interesting Vale character that we have almost no time with whatsoever. Yeah, I'll put her like, I don't even know. Like some of these characters I'm just like pretty on. I'll put her like in front of Harris Swift. I think that's fair. Marcella. Like again, another character that we don't know. Like, we have seen this character actually have some personality, like maybe 2 or 3 times, and they're all very spread out. And we again another child like I can't really like Marcella's got to be like C me like very end of like I could almost say D tier, but I feel like that's harsh. I feel like that's very harsh. Um, my God, I gotta go so far up the chat. Um, Marin sucks. That's all I gotta say. Miri is a C tier. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I just think she's high C tier. I think she's high C tier. I like her. I like her. Ooh, PK. That's an interesting take. Daenerys in book 1 is the best any character has ever been in one book. Um, I think she's up there. I think if I was gonna make a ranking, she'd probably be top 5. I think Theon from A Dance with Dragons is probably 1. 2, I think would either be Tyrion in A Storm of Swords or Clash of Kings. And then 3 would also probably be Jaime or again Tyrion, and maybe Ned for book 1. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I haven't really thought about that idea much, PK, but I think that's definitely like not a crazy take or anything. Where do we rank Jojen Paste? Jojen Paste is like, I don't know. We will be doing that probably in a stream with Ricky next month, but I was going to give it a solid guess. I'd put like Jojen Paste in A tier. Like it's basically canon at this point, and it's a pretty interesting theory, right? I just don't think like it's not one of my favorite theories or anything like that. But yeah. Unfortunately, Ghost Maz is my Lord Commander. You will have to pick something else. Give me Grand Maester if you want. I don't know how you feel about that. I hate Mordain more than Jon. Hell yeah. Mordain sucks. Remind you of a nanny when you were young? No, not particularly. Like, I don't like when I was younger, the person that would like look after me that I remember at like my earliest time, I loved. So I don't really have this kind of a figure in my own life, I guess. Sorry, Dakota. It had to be said for Mordain. Screw that character. I do think PK. I think it's a good shout. I think Missandei could definitely die. Yeah, Tommen's way better than Marcella in the book. Aegon the Conqueror did embrace the 7. It's true. Are we doing Dunk and Egg characters as well? I don't think so. Like outside of Aemon, like this list, I think only is talking about mainly A Song of Ice and Fire, unless they're listed a bunch in A Song of Ice and Fire. But yeah, Danny book 1 is definitely not the. But well, JC, you are a Daenerys hater. You are a Daenerys hater. I don't think it's a bad like shout. I think it's definitely like Daenerys book 1. Her arc, her POV is probably one of my favorites. I would say. Dakota's getting Master of Laws. Boy, that's a scary thought. Dakota in charge of the laws. Don't make me a gray rat. Well, I can. You could wait. You could be a Master of Ships, Ghost. You want to be a Master of Ships? What if ultimately it's Daenerys' decision to end the Targaryen rule or lineage? It could be. It could be PK. I don't think it's going to come down to her, though, personally. Mord is probably a high. Hey, Mord could be ruling High Garden. We don't know. No, no, no. Maz is the Lord Commander. We've already had this discussion. We've had this discussion. Maz is the guy. Have you seen that guy? He's built like a tank. Built like a tank. I'm just saying. He's built like a tank. That man ain't letting nobody get to me unless his loyalty shift. That would be the only chance. Esther Royce. Like, honestly, I like Mord better than you. You're going down there. Nymeria Sand. I feel like all the Sand Snakes, barring like Hyene, are pretty forgettable. Like, I really are just like, I'll put them in front of like. I'll put Nymeria there. We're not doing the direwolves, so we're not doing any of the animals. All the animals and Lady Stoneheart, she's just Catelyn, going down there. Obara, again, just kind of the same spot. Oberyn, hell yeah. Okay. Now we're getting back up to the good stuff. All right. I'd probably put Oberyn. I'd give him A tier. What do you guys think? I think middle of A tier. I could see a situation. You know, wait, that's crazy. I just thought about my top 62 and Oberyn wasn't in it. So Oberyn is not a name, like, which makes sense because he's only in one book, but yeah, it's kind of crazy that Oberyn wasn't in that. But unfortunately, I guess he wasn't ranked that many times. I think A for Oberyn is solid. Oberyn S tier? I don't know about that one, Ashley. I don't know. Daenerys doesn't have a single bad chapter in all her books. PK, we got to stop the cap. We got to stop the cap. That's true, Dakota. Yeah, the Sand Snakes could be cool, but as of right now, the only one I find even like particularly interesting is Tyene. Yeah. Well, Dakota, I don't know if you should be saying that because she's been taking out a lot of your phrase. I'm just saying. Oberyn's solid bottom of PK. Some of these takes, man, I don't know where you get them, but I respect it. It takes a lot of balls to say what you're saying, but I mean, I respectfully disagree. Pedro Pascal equals S tier. Fair enough. Oberyn, yeah, I think Oberyn's better in the show as well. That's kind of what, like, if we were going like by the show characters, I think I would have much more consideration for him in S tier. I think he's still great in the books. I just don't think he's as good. I don't think he's like that next level. Old Nan, you know, we like Old Nan. She's cool. She's cool. She might still be alive in the books, probably not, but she could be. She's pretty cool. Cool. I'll put her. You know, I'll put her like right behind Jorah. Fair enough. I'd say okay, Olenna. I think Olenna's like right above Marjorie. I think she's slightly, more interesting. The Kettle Blacks. I mean, do we care? Does anybody care about the Kettle Blacks? Just out of curiosity, like, does anybody actually care about them? Like, just seriously, do you guys care about any of them? Osha. I like Osha. I think she's a really interesting character, given that she's a wildling, and that perspective, especially with like Bran. Kind of fills like the Egret role, or I guess Mance role for Jon, but for like some other characters, and the way that this character evolves. And I enjoy the character. I think the character gets a lot more time, I feel like, in the show, which helps her in the show. I'll give Osha like high C. I could be convinced to go higher with this character, but I think C tier is fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Patchface. Hell yeah. Right to Estion. No, Patchface. Ooh, I don't know where to put Patchface because I think he's a great mysterious character that's possibly this prophet, gives off spooky ass vibe. Oh, sorry, I'm saying bad words again. Spooky vibes. I'm a Patchface enjoyer. I am very much. I know a lot of people are like a Belwas enjoyer. They're like, why isn't he in S tier? I'm a Patchface enjoyer. Okay. I'm gonna put Patchface behind Makoro. You know, have our like kind of mystical boys next to each other. You know, Pate. I like Pate. I think he's a great introduction into A Feast for Crows. I'll give him like a solid low end C. I think that's fair. Paxter Redwine, we know literally nothing about this character outside of he kind of stays out of the war because Cersei has, you know, his kids, and then he shows up and then he leaves again and he's off screen a lot. And again, there's not much character here. Just I'm gonna be honest, not a lot of character here. I'll put him bottom of C just to not be disrespectful. Penny, hell no. Hell no. I'd say she's right there with like I hate Mordain as a person. Penny I just dislike because I just don't like her character. I just don't. What do you like? Okay, are we Penny like haters in the chat? Like I'm just serious. I'm serious. Like are we Penny haters? Old Nan probably was a baddie. That's true. That's true. 100%. Olenna is the Sith master to Marjorie's apprentice. Yeah, I agree. Osha equals B plus. I could see that. I could see that. 100% Ashley. That's a good take. I'm glad we haven't done any characters that are like too top end because man, Chow would be pissed already. But they're not pissed yet. They're not pissed. B for Patchface's dark poetry is legit. JC, I want to put him in B. I really want to put him in B. I really do. But I can't really like put him into like. I just feel like that's not right. I feel like it just doesn't feel right. Oh, we got a big one coming. Before we hit Littlefinger, let me respond to chat first. Patchface the Wise. True. Concept of swear words is stupid. This is something I almost agree with Ander. Right? See, I'm religious, but at the same time, I don't like. I'm not one of those people that's like, okay, I'm just not gonna cuss because that's kind of what's said, I guess. Because it doesn't really make any sense. Because cuss words weren't even a thing. Like the way we say it, there's a whole thing about religion and things like that. But like, I also don't get the concept of swear words being stupid because it's like we give the swear words this whole thing. It's a whole. We're not getting into that right now. That's a whole. But Andrew, I think that's a base take. That's all I gotta say. Daenerys's side characters in our plot. So, DK, it depends at what points. If you said book 1, I agree. You say book 2, hell no. Hell no. We're talking book 3, it gets better. Book 5, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Penny isn't that bad though. Penny just is not interesting. He drags on the Tyrion plot line. I just don't care about Penny. I don't like Penny. Penny is Quentin tier. I can't disagree. You know, hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. I'm getting enough justification from chat. Hell yeah. Wait, no, she's not as bad as Quentin. Let's get that straight. Quentin is still down here, but Penny, you know, hell yeah. You know, hell yeah. Hell yeah. We're gonna bring that tier down a little bit. Hell yeah. I like that, guys. Okay, Littlefinger. You guys, I will say, in the bracket, were very high on Littlefinger. I like Littlefinger as much as the next guy. But I don't know. Like, I don't think he's like S tier. Like, there are some people voting, I swear, in the bracket where like he should be up here. And I'm just like, no. I think Littlefinger in here. Oh, I like his story. I like his motivations. I like his plans, how he's kind of manipulating character story overall. I like that, right? I just don't think like we are in his head or we're not with him enough where I feel like, yeah, he's over characters like Davos and Jon and Arya, Cersei, main POVs, I like his character, but I don't think he's S tier. No, I don't think that he's, up there. Littlefinger's B tier. I'm surprised you guys are saying Littlefinger's B. Like, I could see B plus. Like, I think that if he wasn't B tier, he needs to be top of B. That's kind of where I would look at. So, okay, crab feeder. I want to say it like this. I don't think that cursing like all the time and often good. Like I'm not there, but I mean like I don't think that just cursing like a normal amount, something that should be like frowned upon. Like in like religion, like in Christianity and stuff like that is frowned upon. Like I don't really get that all that much. Like, you know, especially certain cuss words where it's like they're not really all that bad. Like their meaning has not like a bad like I don't even know. That's a whole topic though. Littlefinger's Joffrey in the books. Okay. I could see that, Ander. I don't hate that take. I don't think I agree with that take, but I don't mind it. Whoa, JC, you gotta hold on. Somebody screenshot this. Sansa is a child in the books. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying, JC. That's all I'm. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. That's why when I say my obsession with Rhaenyra is only because of Millie in the show. Boy. Ghost was right on you. JC, you got to be careful, my chat. They'll get you if you're not careful. They'll get you. You're done. He's canceled. He's canceled. JC's canceled. Oh boy. All right, CJC, you've taken the heat from me. Now they're all going to be on your ass, and now they won't think about all my placements now. All on you. All right, move on. Pod the Rod. We love to see Podrick. Pod's a better version of Hot Pie, in my opinion. I'm gonna put Pod the Rod right above Gendry. No, right above Osha. Yeah, that feels right. Oliver. Um, I'll put him like right there. Fine. Piet Free, however you say this guy's name. Basically the antagonist of book 2. Boy, was this a massive downgrade from Miri. That's all I'm gonna say. Like he's interesting because of his magic, things like that. I'll just put him around the kindly man. I don't know. I sell. Everybody loves their favorite old guy, you know. Pycelle's that classic perv guy, you know? That old weird uncle is kind of what Pycelle is, you know. I'll put Pycelle in a solid C tier. Am I drunk or do I not know who this character is? Who is this character? Chat, who is this character? Par. What is it? What? Am I drunk? I don't remember this character. This is ringing 0 bells. Hold on. Pip. Okay. That's why I didn't recognize. I'm used to hearing him say Pip, not Pipar. What the fuck? What is that? 13 is 17. Hey, 17 is still bad. It's got to be 18. That's all I gotta say. Pip. Okay, that still throws me off. Pipe. I don't think is that name even used in the book. I swear that name's not used in the book. Do not banish JC. Don't do it. Well, off to the Night's Watch I go. Hey, you can join Pipar or Pipar or whatever. All right, Pip. You know, Pip's a solid character. He's just another Night's Watchman guy that's just like, you know, you're pretty cool. You're pretty cool. But you're not that cool. Four and Half Hand. Pretty sick when we see him in book 2. Pretty badass. Unfortunately, not in the book enough though. It's kind of my assessment. I'll give you a high C. Quaith. I don't know. I don't even know. Another magical character we know literally nothing about. I'm gonna say right in this Cold Hands, Kindly Man, Piet Pri, kind of mysterious character. Qyburn. We haven't seen enough of Qyburn yet, warranting to put B, in my opinion. Like, I think in the show, I would lean towards like a B tier, but like here, he's kind of like reminiscent of like Janice, Alice, or just one of those villains that like isn't in the series all that much. Raph. Another one of these characters that's like, just deserves to be in there. Ricaro, Dothraki character I don't care about. We're just gonna put you in the Dothraki characters I don't care about section. I should just have a Dothraki. Well, see, it wouldn't be fully that because of Drogo, but just that would be a good section to have. We could sentence JC to a night with Lysa. No, he might like that. We don't know. We don't know what JC's interests are. He might like Lysa. Who knows? Okay, JC's not a fan of Lysa. Well, maybe that's a good punishment then. Pip's death in the show made me sad. I agree. JC is a pious man. Minus the Saints comments. He has the right to a trial by combat, though. All right, JC, are you taking the trial by combat or are you having a champion? High C for the half Phoenix Scrum. Are you saying you should be higher or lower? I'm assuming higher. Oh no, JC. Not the Sky Cells. Lysa's private chambers. Hell no. Ricaro and Jogo do not deserve to be in Beach. Not a shot. Go to JC, you're getting flamed. Fight back. Well, okay. Well, JC, depending on who I'm fighting. Well, okay, hold on. So technically, this is the crown that's sentencing you right now, JC. Like my hand of the king is Ashley, so she is sentencing you, so you can't name me because I'm the king, unless I choose to fight for you. But that doesn't make any sense because then I'm also sending a man to go against. So theoretically, I would be going against, but I will not be doing that. Your Maz will be who you will be facing off in this trial by combat. You can't name me. You can't name my Kingsguard. You can take volunteers from chat. If people from the chat want to volunteer for you, you know. All I gotta say. No. Baelor ain't saving you. Baelor's dead. Higher, he absolutely stole those John chapters at the end of Clash. I agree. I think, comic, I would rank him higher if we saw more of him. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Nah. This is the thing. I even liked Daenerys' arc in book 1, and I still don't like any of those Dothraki characters because barely any of them have any personality or anything to them. Is my issue with them. Like, they're just very forgettable characters. I don't know. Ramsay. Oh man, he's got to be at least B tier. He's a very good villain. He's not as good as like Joffrey because we have more of Joffrey. I'll put him like, I prefer Euron to Ramsay, even though we have more of Ramsay. We know more about him. I prefer Euron to him though. Like I think they're both pretty close. Randall Tarley. I like some Randall Tarley just because he's an asshole. Why is this? I'll put Randall Tarley behind Crescent. I like some Crescent. Rattle Shirt kind of, dies like a. I can't say it. I was gonna say a curse word that would have made Dakota very unhappy. So I'll put Rattle Shirt around like that area. Friendly. Oh shit, I said a bad word for you, Dakota. I'm sorry. Rhaegar's coming up next, or coming up soon. Renly, I like Renly. I like Renly for his dynamic with Stannis. I love his chapters in the Clash of Kings. I like his dynamic in Game of Thrones with Ned. I like me some Renly Baratheon. Put Renly in B, right behind Illyrio, our favorite cheesemonger. Resnack, Mo Resnack. The character has grown on me. I will say, the character has grown on me. You know, I'm very interested to see where George goes with the character. I'll put him solid C. Rhaegar, we're not doing animals. Rhaegar. 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 Where does Rhaegar go? Boy, am I conflicted about this one. I'm gonna have to ask chat on this one. I feel like Rhaegar should be in B tier because I actually prefer the character of his father than him. But I don't know where I would place him because I feel like he's such a vital part of the story, but we don't know, like, he's kind of similar to Lyanna in a way, but a bit more, like, we know more about him. I lean towards maybe putting him behind Brienne. Okay, chat, where are we at on Rhaegar? Where do we think Rhaegar should be? Just the F1, Dakota? Okay. Okay. Um, who do you think better, Doria or Eerie? I'll be honest, Doria's death is very, like, heartbreaking and or it made me feel something. So I'll say Doria. I'll say Doria. Um, Joe Ramsey was a shit character. See, I liked Ramsey until the Battle of the Bastards when he was an absolute buffoon. Villain ranking Euron. Oh wow, wow. Joffrey last. JC, that's a vile. That's a vile take. Absolutely vile. Randall is a wannabe Stannis. Absolutely true. Dakota, I think so. I think that's a very good take on the evil of Joffrey and Ramsay. I like that. Hey, I gave him some praise. I didn't put him in like D tier. Nulch. That I didn't say that right at all, but maybe. Renly is meh. I like Renly. He's a good character. I like Renly. But why is my chat messed up? Okay, there we go. Chat was like frozen. It wouldn't let me go down. Rhaegar so okay, but what tier for Rhaegar? Like where? So tell me what tier of Rhaegar and how? Where would you place him in the list right now? Like how far up would you have him if he's in B or he's in A or he's in C or whatever? Rhaegar for me would be an A or even an S. I know it sounds like high praise, but the unfolding mystery about him is such a crucial theme. Also, he's so romanticized as a true hero of the story. See, my issue with that is we know way less of Rhaegar than we do someone like Aemon, for instance. And we know I'd say almost about the same about Rhaegar as we do Aegon, and I prefer Aegon over Rhaegar. So I don't know. I don't know. Like A, C, we're all over the place on this one. I'll be honest. So I will say this book can only stand up straight because it's a paperback when I have Fire and Blood back there. So when I have Fire and Blood back there, it just kind of leans on Fire and Blood because Fire and Blood carries, you know? Boys, people hate that, what I just said. But I can't actually stand it up straight, it'll fall. Yeah, like I can maybe lean it up against the wall, but it's still taking a chance. I C or D. Boy. Damon, oh God. Ashley, you're taking things too far. Too far. I just have a soft spot for Rhaegar and his romantic heart playing ways. Fair. Comic, that's how I feel. Okay, so I'm gonna place Rhaegar right behind Brienne. I think I'm cool with that. Rickard Karstark. He's a good character. Good character. Man, I would put Rickard Karstark. He's very influential to the story. He's I like Rickard Karstark. I do. I do. I don't know though. I'm gonna put him behind Corrin Halfhand. I feel like that's fair. Rickon, the wild child that he is, he's basically Marcella, more interesting. We know it was unfortunate for Rickon. That's all I'm gonna say. Rob, I love Rob. Rob's my guy. Rob is my guy. I'm a Rob type of guy. Um, I'm placing Rob at the very end of S. I think that not having POVs holds him back from being up here, even though he is my second favorite character in the books anyway. I can't really justify him placing him over the rest of these characters because they have POVs. We have insight into them, but Rob is my favorite. I should say, well, I was going to say he's my favorite non POV, but Stannis is also a non POV. So I'm putting him in S. Chat might disagree. That's fine. That's fine. That's a good spot for Rhaegar. Okay. People approved of where I put Rhaegar, and then instantly they're going to hate where I put Rob. F tier boo Rob. Rob B tier? Hell no. I could see Rob A tier. I'm kind of debating if he should be top of A tier or low S tier. I could be convinced to put Rob top of A, but I like my boy Rob. He's my guy. Why is Rob this high? I think he's one of the better written characters in terms of the Stark children. I love his journey from book 1, having to fill the role of becoming the Lord of Winterfell, the toll that takes, especially like the background with like Bran and him and their scene in book 1. His journey then to becoming King of the North, seeing all the decisions and how he falls apart. I love all of that. His death is iconic. He is by far one of my favorite characters. Um I agree, Snowledge. That basically sums up kind of my thoughts on it. Dakota, you just had to take him out. I know. You helped orchestrate the Red Wedding. I know. I know. Robert Aaron. We all love Robin Aaron in our own ways. He's just he is what he is. Hmm. I don't really know where to place Robin. I'm gonna put him just in there. Oh hell yeah, Robert. Now I'm gonna wait. Hold on before we rank this. I'm gonna say it. We're gonna go to a big. We gotta go to big. Whoever voted in the polls for Robert Baratheon to lose against Littlefinger, we are not friends. We are not friends. Robert Baratheon, he's just so cool. He's so cool.
The Lannisters send their regards.
Thank you, Dakota, for your super chat. This was better than Rob deserved. Traitorous. That's good comedic timing. I like that. But thank you, Dakota. I will say, Robert Baratheon, okay, based off of my thoughts, and you guys will see in the video, y'all darn pissed me off with Robert Baratheon losing to Littlefinger. Absolutely, oh shot, oh way. All I gotta say, I could see Bobby B being like anywhere in this range. I'm gonna put him here, but I love me some Bobby B. I don't know how Bobby B got absolutely shafted. Robert Strong, same situation as Lady Stoneheart. He's the Mountain. The Mountain's already ranked. We're not, yeah. Roderick, he's got them chops, so you can't hate on him too much. No, he's fine. I think he's just fine. Just fine. He's fine. Roderick, I do like Roderick the Reader. We just don't see him enough. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I like him more than some of the Sand Snakes. Duck, kind of in the same boat as like a lot of these characters here. Haven't seen enough of him. Roose. I'm a Roos kind of guy. Now this might be a hot take. Might be a hot take. I don't know. I personally like Roos more than Ramsey as a character. I also like him more than Euron as well. You haven't seen enough of Euron yet. I still think Roos of like the main villains is still up there. I think he's still. I enjoy Roos a lot more in the book than I do the show. The show I think did not do Roos all that well. Roos, I'm pretty high on Roos. I'm pretty high. What do you guys think about Roos? I'm pretty high on him. Thank you for coming in, Snulch. Hope I didn't butcher your name, but thank you for coming in. Greece is a ranking of it is a ranking of all time. Bessie. That's right, Ashley. That's right. Oh boy, where do we rank Bessie? Well, based off of Robert's description, gotta be S tier. Roos over Ramsey? Hell yeah, Andrew. Hell yeah. I feel like it is a hot take, though. I feel like there's a lot of people in the community that would not put it that way. And I don't know if it's the influence of the show or what, but Roos has got to be up there. Roos over Ariana is insane. I love Ariana as much as the next guy. Well, I really do. I really like Ariana, but not over Roos. Roos he's just one of those underrated, low-key, awesome villains of the first, like, 5 books. Sheesh. Dakota, that was a line. That's all I gotta say. Sheesh. Jamie's too high. He's like a opposite of Arya, but PK, you watch the bracket video, you're not gonna be happy. That's all I gotta say. I don't mind Roos. I'd say he's high B. He's one of the most interesting characters in the books. I agree. I'd take Roos killed Domeric. Ashley, what's the reasoning? Seems very counterproductive. Gosh, okay. Coda, that was vile. That was vile. That is vile, but I appreciate it. Rorge, again, another one of these guys in here. Like, Salador San, better version of Dario, every way possible. Better than Arain Waters, 100%. I won't mention Darkstar because then Ashley will get pissed. I'll put him above Arain Waters. Samwell Tarly, self-proclaimed coward himself. I'll put Samwell. I'll put Samwell behind Mel. I still think he's a B character. I think he's solid. I could see a lot of people putting him lower than this, but I think B tier. I think solid. I like Samwell more when we see him through other characters. I think it's especially apparent when he goes with Gilly in book 4. But I can't hate the Hound. Ooh, where do I put the Hound? Oh, I feel like no matter what, Ashley's gonna probably be pissed in chat. I'm gonna put the Hound in A tier. I don't feel confident about this. I feel like I can make an argument in my head for the Hound being like up here or all the way down here. There's an argument, but I'll put him here, right above Oberyn. I do love the Hound. I love, and I think he's only going to get better as a character. If he is the Gravedigger, of course. I think he's only trending upward. But as of right now, as he has not really been a character since book 3, I think I'm going to put him, A tier. I think that's fine. His Fist of the First Man chapter is good, though. I agree. I think Arya's a great character, PK, as well. I just think Jaime's a bit better for me. Good point. It's a good point. How could Ramsay have accessed poison? Could have been things like reek. Possible. Something like that situation. I don't know. It's a good argument. I kind of want to look into something like that. Oh, the Hound in B tier. PK, Ashley's going to come after you. He will come after you for that take. That's wild. Hound way better than Barristan? I don't know. I'm a Barristan guy. Hound above Littlefinger? I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Okay, I can get behind the Hound here. I can get behind it. I think that's where I'm going to leave him, though. I think that's where I'm going to leave him. I like the Hound, of course. I think that's the highest I'll go with him. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go with him. Oh, hell. You guys aren't going to like me when you watch the bracket video. That's all I got to say. Sansa is an overhated character in my opinion, but she's also not like I feel like people are so split on Sansa. There's people that like Sansa are like, oh, she's up here. Other people are like, oh, Sansa is all the way down here. And I'm just like, I think Sansa is very comparable to like Samwell. Like, there's good parts of the character and bad parts. I like Sansa, though. I do like Sansa. I think she's on an upward trajectory. I think her character is getting better as we go. I don't think she's, the most interesting character, especially in like the first 2 books, but she's in a great setting. So the setting kind of makes up for her character that isn't as interesting, especially in book 1. So I'll give Sansa like a high B, but I think that's where I'm at with the character. So, oh my God, the portrait for Selyse. Wow. Selyse. I'm going to be honest. Selyse sucks. She just sucks. Selyse, I don't find to be that interesting of a character. It's just unpleasant. Do you guys agree with Selyse in the Quentin tier? I'm just not a fan. I think Selyse is just not good. Whom it may concern, the Hound didn't kill Micah. Ashley, I know you love the Hound, but that might be a little bit of cope. Quentin tier? Hell yeah. Oh no, you guys are talking about Sansa. Okay. Sansa in the Game of Thrones is D. I wouldn't go that far. I would give her like a C tier range, JC. In A Feast for Crows, I would agree like an A tier is probably good. Stannis is her beard. Oh no. Oh no. I agree, JC. Selyse is a menace. Okay? That's all I gotta say. Not a good menace. Shay, I really don't like Shay in the books. I just like I like her for what she does for Tyrion's arc and for what it does to Tyrion internally. But the Shay of the books is so unlikable. She is so I know it's just because she's younger. Like, they aged up the Shay character in the show, made her have her own, I don't know, like, character. Like, they gave her more to do in the show that was made her more likable, in my opinion. Shay in the books, on the other hand, he's kind of there for the money, and Tyrion kind of lets it happen. I'm just saying. I ain't a Shay fan. I'm not. I'm going to put her top of D. I'm kind of recognizing the irony of her going at the top of D as I say it, but you know, Jay is mid. Fair. JC. JC, you're not living it down. That's all I got to say. I agree, comic. I agree. I personally don't think Shay was too bad in the show, Andrew, but I could definitely see it. 100% he did, Crab. 100%. I agree, JC. Little too friendly. Little too friendly. I don't think Shay is necessarily what destroyed Tyrion's arc, but I do think it had a role in it. So I won't say no, but I also won't say yes. Jaga, you know, I'd put him around this brutish area of the tier list. Shaggy Dog, again, we're not doing animals. We all love Shireen. Let's be honest. We all love Shireen. Shireen, I'll put it right there with Patchface because it's thematic. Sigorn, I mean, barely a character, to be honest. I see kind of both of them, so we're just gonna put both of them there. I'm not really that high on either one of those characters. Gahaz. Gahaz is a little underrated in my opinion. I of all the Marine characters, Skahaz is probably the one I enjoy the most. I'm gonna give Skahaz a low E tier. I like him. I like him. That's all I gotta say. Stafford, I mean, who cares? Summer, there. Sirio. No, he's not in. Well, actually, depending on what theory you believe, but only in book one. Not in book one all that much. Even though I do love the character. I do like what we see with him. He's kind of comparable to like Osha, for instance, in terms of enjoyment of the character. Tayana. Enjoyable in Cersei's arc, but is a very minor character. Could be major, depending on how things go with her arc in the future. I'm just going to put her randomly and see. I think she's fine. Tattered Prince. We need more of the Tattered Prince. I like the Tattered Prince. Again, there's not a ton to his character as of right now, but I do really like the Tattered Prince. The Waif is basically a less interesting version of the Kindly Man, in my opinion. Like, we just don't know all that much about the character. So, go down there. Theon. Oh, boy. Where do I put Theon? I'm going to drop Theon in third. I'm kind of conflicted in this part of it. I feel like I could rearrange these three right here in any order, and I'd feel fine with it. Today, I'm feeling like Theon. He's fantastic in book 2. He has one of the best books of all time in book 5. He carries Dance with Dragons. I don't care what you say. Slander me all you want in chat. He deserves S. He deserves it. Yeah, no, Shay is one. I don't know. I've heard that idea. I don't know if that's 100% true. I'm going to take your guys' word for it, though, but I'm pretty sure yes. She's no Natalie Dormer, though. That's fair. Sirio is F tier. Euron, you're a hater of Sirio. Fair. Crab feeder, that is outrageous. That is outrageous what you just put in the chat. That is outrageous. Crab feeder, if I wasn't such a merciful king, that would be beheaded right there. You know how Maegor just beheads maesters like it's nothing? That would be a punishable offense. That right there. You know how Ned's like, don't talk about Ashara? Don't talk about Millie like that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Theon equal S. I agree. I think Theon's got to be an S. You better be sorry, Crab. You better be sorry. That is just that's crazy to me. Crazy. Not above Catelyn. I don't know. I'm very conflicted, Ander. I will help you with the rankings. Number 1, Daenerys. Number 2, Tyrion. Number 3, Jon. Number 4, Arya. Number 5, Jaime. Solid list. It's not my list. I don't like it. I demand a trial by combat. Well, my champion is you sitting in a cell and getting no food. I tried to think of a clever thing that would make the Mad King, happy, but I couldn't think of anything. PK knew where I was going. PK knew it. PK knew. Ander, Ashley, you got some work to do. Ashley, what? All right, I'm gonna need some new mods soon. I'm gonna need some new mods. This is outrageous. It's unfair. Cannibal, swear your oath to Millie, and you can be a mod right now. Swear your oath to Millie in the chat right now, Cannibal. Swear your oath. This is outrageous. Anakin would have some words. That's all I'm gonna say. That's not true. Ashley, Natalie is number 3 in the power ranking. It's Millie and then Amelia. Then there's, Dormer. And then it's kind of like a noticeable fall off a little bit, but you swear that's fair enough? All right, fair enough. All right, I gotta go to hold on. Even do I haven't done this. Chat, stop moving. Chat is moving too fast, dude. Chat is moving. I gotta find Cannibal. Where's he at? Where's he at? All right. All hail Cannibal, the first of his. Well, you're not first of his. All hail Cannibal of becoming part of the mod crew. You have been promoted because of others' insanity in the community. Hopefully you serve your king well. Thoros, I'd say he's like right around Barrack. Where even is Barrack? Can't find him. Where's Barrack? Is he up here in B? Where'd I put him? So many characters. There's so many. There's Barrack. I'll put Thoros slightly ahead of Barrack. The Three-Eyed Crow. Now, if they're saying this, let's say this is Bloodraven. This is not a confirmed thing in the book, but if this is Bloodraven, if it's Bloodraven, I think bottom of A. I'm gonna say bottom of A for Bloodraven. I like Bloodraven. He's a solid, cool guy. I'm sorry, Agor, but he's a solid, cool guy. Timit, kind of there with Shaga. Tom of 7 streams we'll put next to Lem. Want Lem to be higher, thank you. Tommen. Sorry, that was disrespect. That was crazy there for a second. Tommen, he's got some great lines. I'll put him like next to Hot Pie. That feels nice. I like that. Tormund, solid character. Now he's better. We haven't seen a lot of Tormund, to warrant, I think, a super high placement. But I'll give Tormund like B tier. I think that's fair. Tristan Martin. I mean, this isn't a character. I mean, this basically is not a character. Yeah. Aiko, it's almost in the same vein, isn't really a character. But he's coming to Stannis' aid, so that gives him at least C tier. Tyene. Of all the Sand Snakes, I find Tyene to be the most interesting. I'll give Tyene here. I think that, yeah. Tyrion. Oh, Tyrion and Tywin are coming up. Hell yeah. Tyrion, I think, is number 2. I'd put Tyrion number 2. I know he has a rough patch in Dance. I've, criticized him, but I think his like first 3 books are just fantastic. Tyrion's got to be up there. He's got to be up there. PK, that's good comms. That's good comms. I like that. We defend the Millie slander. I will consider you for next mod. I will consider it. That is good. Crab, you gotta crab. Don't kid yourself, crab. Don't. The actress that plays Lena is very attractive. The actress that plays Bela is very attractive. Emily Carey is very attractive. I will say, I'm somebody that likes longer hair, and Emily Carey she likes her shorter hair. So, depending on what Emily Carey you get, I would rank her higher or lower. Olivia's an attractive lady as well. She doesn't come close to Millie, but I mean, she's an attractive lady. Dakota, you must be careful. You must be careful. You know, you must be careful with the things being said about Millie in this chat. Things being said. That's all I got to say. Now, I am 100% punishing free speech, okay? You can say things. You have the freedom to say things. But I will take what you say into consideration. I'll say. I know nothing about Bloodraven. Well, PK, you should look up some videos on Bloodraven. He's a great character. I am listing Brendan and or Bloodraven, not the Three-Eyed Crow. That's the way I'm doing it. My top 6: number 1, Jaime; number 2, Tyrion; number 3, the Hound; number 4, big Lannister guy. Stannis, number 5; number 6, Deanna. I like that. I might switch around the order a little bit, but I like it. Tyrion is between Jon and Sir. That's hella disrespectful. No, Crab. Just no. No. Just no. She's not. No. If you become a mod for denying the truth that Natalie is. No. Dakota. Dude, you gotta chill out here. The top 50. PK, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ghost, there's been treason said in chat. That's what's happened. Treason. I like Jon, but I don't think that anything crazy. What's your favorite ship in A Song of Ice and Fire? Young Griff and Ariane, the power couple. That's what needs to happen. Tywin Low S. Yeah. We'll see when we get there. We'll see. Aisha ain't a character. Like, yes, she is a character, but she's not a character. Like, she's like Shay, but likable. You get what I mean? Like, she's not really like, yeah, I don't know. Tywin. I don't know. I'm very conflicted about these 3. I'm very conflicted. See, I enjoy Tywin as a villain more than Joffrey, but Joffrey is a more iconic villain. Like, and again, I think this is because more of the show than the book. You know what? I'm switching these around. I like this better. I'm gonna keep it at that. Val's cool. I like Val. It's a very fun character in Jon's POVs. She just isn't there all that often. Like, she's just not present enough. Varamir, I don't like Varamir. I just don't like. I don't like the prologue to Dance Dragons. I don't find it all that interesting. Maybe it's because I don't love like parts of the magic of the world. Varamir to me is a character I do not like. I'll give him C because I know no, that feels disrespectful. I'm gonna put him like right there. Fargo Hote. Man, this guy's messed up in the head. I'll put Vargo Hoat and his weird speech patterns right there. Varys, what a weird picture of Varys. A weird picture of Varys. Problem I have is, on first glance, you might think, oh, he should be right there with Littlefinger. The thing is, a lot of Littlefinger's plans have already happened, right? Like, well, we're already mainly through his main plans. Varys has been more calculating in the background, adjusting to the game as it's played, playing for the long game for young Griff. And so because we don't really know his full plan yet, like we don't know, like the fruits of his labors haven't really been executed yet. I really like Varys, but I think he's top of B. I don't know if I'm crazy for that, but Victarion, oh boy, everybody loves Victarion. Victarion to me is probably like there in B tier. He's good. I like him, but he's not crazy. Viserion, Viserys. Viserys also high B tier. I'm a big fan of Viserys. The combination of Viserys and Mirri Maz Duur together craft an really good arc for Daenerys in book 1. I'm a big fan of him. One of my favorite videos I've probably ever done on this channel was about him. Did like a character analysis of the character. Thoroughly enjoyed him. Walder Frey. Oh, this is the big one, dude. Dakota will rage quit. I am going to put Walder Frey quite high. I should say relatively. I think Walder Frey is a great villain. I think he's a great villain. I would say he's underneath Euron and Roose, but I think he's high B. I like Walder Frey. He's the main antagonist for my favorite chapter in any book, so I got to give him his credit. Waymar, where everything started, solid character, but again, he's only in one chapter. Kind of hard to put him that high. Widow, because this chapter is probably one of the worst in the entire series, into the Quentin tier. Willis, I'd probably say of the 3 Tyrell brothers, probably the least interesting. Yeah, let's put him there. Will, kind of in the same vein as Waymar, in my opinion. So I'll just put him there. Wyman Manderly, the underrated GOAT. I'll give Wyman a solid. I'll put him right next to Illyrio because, come on. These two would get along really well. That's all I got to say. Garo, another forgettable Daenerys character that we don't. Oh, yeah. Ezen, you're going down here. That's all that needs to be said. Egret. I'll put Egret middle of B. I think that's fair. Bronze Jan Royce. Like around C tier, I think is fine. Yoren. Very underrated character as well. I'll put Yoren. Unfortunately, he's just died in the reread, which is very unfortunate. I'll give him a solid C tier. I'll give him a solid C tier. Young Griff, the last one of the list. Everybody knows I love Young. Everybody knows it. But does that give me enough to place him, way up there? Oh, not particularly. I'm going to put Young Griff high B tier. Young Griff, by the end of next book, if we get it, will be up here. Don't you worry. He will be. But not yet. Not yet. Needs to go through the trials of getting there. Okay? He's just now been introduced. All right, that is the list. Hate on it. Like it. Do whatever you're gonna do. That is the no way you're put. I changed my ways. I changed my ways. I thought about it. My favorite characters list: Victarion, the Hound, Stannis, Barristan, Barbary, Alaris, Sorella, and then Theon. Okay, okay. I absolutely love Victarion, but I agree with him and B. Fair, fair. Viserys is the best Targaryen character. Can't hate on that. I like Viserys. Hey, if I was a casual Ander, I think casual fans would put Viserys in C or D. Also, Harry Lloyd was fantastic as Viserys. I agree. Walder Frey is not a... Sorry. The propaganda that makes Walder Frey a villain. There you go. I have successfully defended Walder and brought people to his cause. Cannot deny low A. No. There's no shot he's going in A. Walder Frey, Robb Stark as a character. I don't know about that one. I don't know, Chief. I don't know. I'm fine with Young Griff being B for now. Yeah, I agree. Put Young Griff by his father. Where do I have him? How far away is he right now? Nah, that's too far. Young Griff's got to be higher. Okay, so let's review. Do I feel like I want to move around the list at all? No, I kind of like my list. I like where it's at. I think it's good. It's got most of the characters are in C tier. Couple characters that are in like the D or Quentin tier. Not many characters in S tier. It's only the top 10. I like that. Top 10 characters are in S tier. I like that. And then you got another like 11 or 12 in A tier. Makes sense. And then B tier a bit more. I like it. I think this is a good. I feel happy with this. But that is the stream, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Darkstar is lower. Maybe that's to make Ashley mad. Maybe it's not. And yeah, let's end out on a good note. I think it's pretty solid. List. But yeah, you guys didn't seem as upset about this one last. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce your name. Give me a second. Your thing? That's not right. You can tell me how it's pronounced if you'd like. But you basically missed the whole stream. We are basically done, unfortunately. But I will see you guys all in the next one. Hope you guys all enjoy.